All right, welcome back to Flaccus Talks, the podcast, episode 210. Today on the show, Kamala is struggling to get the straight white male vote, and her response is making it worse. Then, Trump's McDonald shift went really well. We're going to talk about that. Then in Cringe of the Week, the sprinkle pool at the Museum of Ice Cream is being sued because it's causing injuries. We're going to show you some of the injuries. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, this Democrat door knocker stole someone's scooter. Can you believe it? I can. All this and more. It's Flaccus Talks, the podcast, episode 210, ranked the best new podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Flaccus Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Grab.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, have you heard the flavored air category is quickly becoming a leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a movement towards better habits led by today's sponsor, Fume. Fume is perfect for when you're out and tempted to do one of your bad habits. Maybe you want to bum a bad habit off of a friend outside. We've all been there. But what if I told you there's a better alternative that can help you kick your bad habit, that's enjoyable, and you can take it with you? That's Fume. Fume draws flavor to your mouth. It's not nicotine or addictive. It's not a vapor, so you can do it anywhere, and it requires no batteries. My favorite flavor is crisp mint. It's very refreshing. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be their next success story. Break your bad habits today. For a limited time, use my code FLECCUS to get a free gift when you order the Journey Pack. Head to tryfume.com, that's TRYFUM.com today and use code FLECCUS for that free gift when you order. Thank you to Fume for sponsoring. Now let's get into housekeeping. All right, thank you to Fume for sponsoring.
Thank you, Fume.
It's very important to get rid of your bad habits.
Yes, it is.
Otherwise, you keep doing them and then you're dead.
All of a sudden, you spiral out of control and you're dead.
Exactly. One thing leads to another. It compounds. All right, we have a lot to get to. We have a packed show, and it's a Tuesday show.
Yes.
So it's strictly business.
Okay.
First things first, let's start the show off with something uplifting. Trump did his McDonald shift where he worked on the fry machine, and it went very well. Very authentic. He paid for everyone's food. He met a bunch of people. It was great.
Yeah. And it's very fascinating how Trump comes in. A normal politician would kind of look awkward or weird doing it, but Trump just shows up and he's like, hey, I'm Donald J. Trump, and I'm doing the fries today. It's a little different. He's still the billionaire icon American, guy, and he just happens to be doing the fries that day. So
it went very well. Everyone loved it, going completely viral. And then people were trying to hate on him. One guy even said in an article, I'm an ex-McDonald's chef. Trump has no idea how difficult it is to be a French fry cook. It's like stoned high school kids do it.
I know. New York Post was looking for someone to, can anyone say this for us? Can anyone say the line? But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Obviously, it was not that difficult, and you learn it in an hour.
Yep, exactly. And then my favorite clip from the whole experience was him in the drive-thru window. Listen to what he said to the people that were receiving their food.
Well, I do appreciate it. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, you take it for granted. You say, give me French fries. I'll never forget this experience, okay? Now I know how to do it, and it's very good. But you know what? It's beautiful. It's clean. It's really nice. You never touch them. I always figured somebody stuffs them in with their hand, and I don't like that. And they don't do it that way. You never touch them. It's really great.
So he's very happy that no one's touching the French fries. I think he assumed people were just stuffing them in the thing. Mm-hmm. And he's very, very pleasantly surprised that no hands touch the French fries.
Cleanliness is next to godliness for Trump, and he likes it. So
it's very important. And then also, people made some interesting points online. A lot of people say Donald Trump was our first black president. Mm-hmm. This is pretty compelling. Can you read the post?
Yeah. Gold-plated, everything with his name on it, multiple baby mamas, mugshot, 34 felonies, didn't do nothing, got shot, worked at McDonald's for a day and quit. So he's getting blacker.
Yeah, very compelling. Yeah. That should do well with the urban vote. And then part of this was the working at McDonald's. Part of it was a kind of like a dig at Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris back in the day said she used to work at McDonald's. There was a headline here: Kamala Harris at McDonald's, a college job and a Trump attack. And then if you look below, it says her campaign and a friend say she did work at McDonald's.
Yeah, so nobody has any record of her ever working at McDonald's. McDonald's released a PR statement that kind of said, although we don't have any proof of Kamala ever working there, we believe her. You know, not everybody keeps records. So they kind of gave it a, we're not going to decide this for everyone rule.
But they did say, we don't have proof, but we'll take her word for it. But they kind of, right after Trump did his shift, said, we don't have proof she ever worked there.
Yep.
Very base McDonald's, very cool.
Yep.
And it was a authentic experience in general. I will say it was similar to when Lana Del Rey worked at Waffle House. Same energy, pure Americana, very nice energy. And it was kind of like a simulation thing too. Like seeing Donald Trump in the window waving to people. That's like a simulation mixing up the characters and by accident putting the billionaire in the drive-through window.
Yeah, it's an AI-generated picture that the AI got confused and it turned out it was real, right?
Exactly. So we're going to get a little deeper into our politics section now. Kamala Harris is having a tough time relating to straight white males. She's polling very poorly, especially young straight white men. And as many of you know, most of her supporters are obviously liberal women, homosexuals.
Yeah, they only support her, right?
So they're getting together to campaign for Kamala. Here we have Usher saying a few words.
I love you more, but I love Kamala Harris even more.
Oh, interesting.
What does that even mean?
Which is weird because a month ago on The View, Usher said this about politics.
In this emergency that we're in, I think that the Who's artists should come out and speak for Kamala against Donald Trump, because he is an existential threat to the country. What do you say to that?
You know what? I don't get too deep into politics. I didn't get a chance to watch the debate last night. I obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice. And I think that you're right. You have to look at the reality of the country that we are and the country that we want to be.
So clearly...
Sidestep answer.
Yeah, sidestep answer, and clearly he's being blackmailed by P. Diddy freak-off blackmail tapes.
He's on the P. Diddy freak-off blackmail tapes. So what other conclusion am I supposed to come to if you do that a month apart? And all of a sudden, I love Kamala more than you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the only reasonable explanation, allegedly.
Yeah, and he's in that mix. He's definitely in that group. P. Diddy brought Usher up. Usher had some Justin Bieber type shit.
So P. Diddy brought Usher up. Usher was Justin Bieber's mentor. He kind of like passed Justin Bieber off to P. Diddy on the hook. You're in trouble. P. Diddy's in trouble. Everyone in the tapes is in trouble unless you go support Kamala Harris.
Yep.
That's kind of how it works.
It's easy. It's actually easy. Once they get you on tape, it's very easy.
So like we said, Kamala has been making more of an effort to get the straight white male vote. Here she had a man speak.
White male at a minimum. But
At least a white male speak at one of her rallies.
Hey, how are y'all doing? All right. My name is Maxine Kirkpatrick. I am a born and bred Michigander, a fellow on the Michigan One campaign, and president of Students for Harris Walls at Wayne State University.
Yeah. So another possible transgender.
yeah, got that Freddie Mercury mouth, a giant mouth on a small head, effeminate.
And it's like you look at that person who's speaking in front of a crowd as like a leadership position.
Yeah.
And it's like, would you trust that person's leadership in war, economic wars against China? Or are they going to sell us out, let everyone in, give our money away, and trans the kids?
Yeah, what would stop this the quickest? Like, what would be the easiest way out, right?
So it makes you wonder. And that's just based on vibes.
Yeah.
Just based on vibes with that person.
Anecdotal vibes, evidence, that's all we're going off of these days. And that's
Yeah.
actually tends to be more right than data.
Yeah.
Corrupted data, anecdotal vibes.
Anecdotal vibes.
You know what the choice is, right?
All day. And then Harry Sisson and the other guy, they were campaigning for Kamala too, and they were going to bars. You know, guys hang out at bars.
Yeah.
Drink a beer at a bar.
I watched that Coors Light commercial. I figured out what they do, right?
So can you read their tweet of them at a bar?
He said, in bars campaigning for Kamala Harris in North Carolina, meeting people where they're at, white dudes for Harris. If you're a straight white dude, man up and vote for Harris.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that they sent 2 twinks out there to kind of tell people to man up. And if you're a white man, you can't relate to me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure who the straight white dudes in that picture are. And it's interesting because Kamala's doing so poorly with straight white people, white guys, and then they send those 2 people who are like the least masculine guys ever, and then they tell us to what? Man up, aka vote not in your best interest and elect brown lady who's going to let in all the illegals.
Doesn't seem like a fair trade. And usually what they would do is find an actor who's a total leftist retard, but who plays masculine roles, and then they'd get him on camera lecturing you, like Nick Offerman type or Batista. Batista's the one that they have. But instead they send Harry out. And it's just very fascinating because the Biden administration, obviously, if you watch this show, you watched all the freaks that they have. The pup play general, Admiral Levine, the gay TikTok guy they sent.
Luggage twink.
They had everybody, right? And then all of a sudden it becomes the last 2 weeks until the election, early voting starting everywhere. We're going to vote today.
And they go, oh, shit.
And they go, what are we doing with the white man? What's wrong? What happened, right? So it's very disingenuous. And they're not offering any solutions or anything. Like it's just kind of a question that they're posing. Why are we doing so bad with the white men? It's not like, hey, let's do something really quick. Let's make a policy. Let's list out what we're going to do. It's just kind of like a sudden, oh, whoopsie, we're polling bad, right?
Yeah, it's a great point. They had all this time, and now it's 2 weeks before, and it's time to, what are we going to do about the white people?
Yeah.
That's a real interesting approach by them. And then Charlotte Clymer, who is a literal transgender, she had this to say. Can you read the tweet?
She said, can someone please explain to me what exactly it is that young men want to hear from VP Harris that she's not already saying? And please be specific. I want to hear exactly what you'd say to her.
Stop giving black people $20,000 forgivable loans last week.
Literally 7 days ago.
Stop bringing in third world people that are going to replace us.
Yeah. Stop villainizing white men at every chance you get, discriminating them in college, in the workplace.
Affirmative action. Yeah, exactly. DEI is kind of messing stuff up. You should talk about that. That's specific, right?
You know all those charts that say racist, sexist, homophobic that have gone straight line up? You know, you could start there. You could tamper that rhetoric down. But yeah, obviously they're not really looking for answers. They're looking to kind of bully people on Twitter. Here's a picture of Charlotte.
There she is.
That was a half and half. That was like I came out as trans, but I'm not really putting that much effort into it.
I just started.
Yeah, so like having someone like that say, hey, dear white men, what's your problem? That's your problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those chicken or the egg things. And it's like, you shouldn't even be here saying anything. We need a different spokesperson, right?
And it's like a shame-based thing, too, where it's like, oh, you're a white guy, you're not going to vote for Kamala. It's like, oh, you're sexist, or you're scared of a woman in power, or you're insecure, and that's why you're voting for Trump. And it's just like...
You're insecure, or you're not prioritizing abortion enough. And it's like, dude, what? Abortion? That has to be my top issue? Are you guys fucking nuts? I'm getting smoked at the grocery store, you know?
Yeah.
I'm getting smoked everywhere. Work? Oh, yeah. How many of you show watchers have seen like an African American or someone get promoted at work, or they bring in an external hire for like a job you were gunning for, and you're like, huh, you know? So those are the kind of things that are impacting us that have nothing to do with like women's reproductive rights, which aren't even on the ballot right now.
Come on, white guys, man up. And then, man up and be retarded.
Yeah, man up and vote against your interest for like weaker people or something, right? And they want you to be selfless with your vote. And are we going to talk about this? The white men for Harris, like the Zoom call, white dudes for Harris, when that first started, that wasn't really like a political group becoming organized and being like, here's what she's going to do for us. Here are our demands. Here's how it's going to be better for white dudes for Harris. It's not like a typical political block. It was just like a, see, we exist, like shaming thing. Like it was like, see, we're here. We're willing to vote against our interests for the better good, for the greater good of the country.
Exactly. And then like fundamentally, the view for white guys for Harris is like, we need to vote our way off of the top of the pedestal because everything is built in a white supremacist country. Everything's gone our way. So to correct the wrongs, we need to selflessly vote against our own best interest to knock ourselves down a few pegs.
Yeah.
Like that's how they see it. Not like, oh, this is going to help me. It's, well, this will knock me down a few pegs, but that's going to be equality.
Yeah, every other political group there is, Hispanics, blacks, women, they all like are self-interested and hyper-focused on issues that immediately impact them. And then white dudes for Harris, they have to be like, oh, guess it's not my turn. I'll be selfless this time. So it's a very backwards situation, and there's going to be no improvement, right? It's 2 weeks before, and she's going, why aren't I 40 points ahead? Hillary Clinton voice, right?
Big time.
All right, chill.
Okay, next clip is Dash and the other two, Harry Sisson and the other guy. They went to North Carolina to knock on doors or whatever, and just watch the vibes of this video.
Also here in North Carolina with Harry and Chris. Guys, tell me about the energy that you've seen so far.
The energy is crazy. Just wearing this hat around, I'm telling you, people in this state are excited. And let me tell you, we've seen so many signs around Raleigh, all of them pro-Democrat, pro-Kamala Harris, pro-Tim Walz. It's been crazy. That's right. We're going to get it done.
And young people are going to get it done too, because there is too much at stake for all of us this election, is why we're here.
See his bobblehead?
You see that one guy going like this?
It's a little twitchy, huh?
Yeah, he's excited to go vote for Kamala. I wish they'd knock on our door.
He's picking up on the Tim Walz vibes, and he's getting floppy.
The other day, someone wrote about Tim Walz that he moves like a clown without makeup.
Yeah.
Without clown makeup. And that was like the most well-described way of describing him.
Yeah.
Right. There was a tweet that sums up the current situation when it comes to young men not liking Kamala Harris and what's maybe going to happen in the next few years. Can you read that? Minus illegal immigrants.
Yeah. Within 5 years, 70 to 80% of young men will be right-wing. All the hot women will follow them. The left is the part of emasculation, shrieking childless women, and troons. No self-respecting man with an ounce of testosterone will align himself with them. Democrats are cooked.
Democrats are cooked. That's why I say minus illegal immigration, because there are 50 million illegals here, and they will probably try to give them amnesty and then vote Democrat to keep their benefits.
Yeah.
So they're not like fully cooked, but they're fully cooked if Trump wins and deports all those people.
And again, that would be a group who's like a single issue voter, like people who have illegals in their family or something. They're like, well, I just need them not to be deported, so I don't care what a transgender is. You know what I mean? And so everybody has their own single issue vote except for white dudes for Harris. They just have to suck it up.
That's a good point. And then also Democrats, Republicans kind of, when it comes to single issue voting, they'll get like turned off and then not vote. Where it's like, oh, Trump's not pro-life enough, and then they're not going to vote for him. But Democrats have that too. And I'm trying to like understand it all the way. They have it too, but the Democrats do whatever they want single issue wise.
Yeah.
So like abortion's always going to be full abortion no matter what, because they don't want to lose those single issue voters. Well, while Republicans can be a little more nuanced, where it's like, oh, we're pro-life, but Trump's not the most pro-life, but we're still going to vote for him.
Yeah.
The single issue thing, the Democrats do a good job of making as many single issue voters as they can, and then saying, we're not going to deport you. We're not going to get rid of abortion, and just appeal to the single issue voters.
Yeah, and they overpromise and underdeliver. Like, there's no abortion, nationwide federal abortion bill that's passing, guys.
And then you see commercials. I saw a commercial the other day that's like, Trump's going to ban abortion. They just say it. They don't care.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get to our next clip. Lizzo, she was campaigning for Kamala as well in Detroit. Here's what she said.
I'm so proud to be from this city. You know, they say if Kamala wins, then the whole country will be like Detroit. Okay?
Paid for by Donald Trump for president.
Yeah, that's horrible.
As a reminder, this is what Detroit looks like.
Crazy.
If you guys weren't sure. And I do believe that Kamala will make the entire country like Detroit if she's elected.
Yeah, everything will be squalor, disrepair, overgrown bushes, all that kind of stuff, urban decay.
Yeah, so everyone is correct in that last clip.
It's just not a good endorsement. You're correct. You accidentally revealed the game.
You weren't supposed to say that.
And this was just after we were done making fun of Lizzo because she was actually self-improving and actually lost weight. So it's a shame that she's back on the meat block.
Yeah, she's
punching bag.
Yeah, maybe she went to the Diddy parties too.
Ooh.
Have to assume. All right, Elon is putting a lot of money to work. He's doing $1 million randomly given away to people who sign his America PAC.
Yeah.
Sign up for it.
It's basically like a petition thing. Elon announced $1 million prize to be awarded daily until Election Day to a random person who has signed the petition in support of his America PAC. The first winner has already been chosen, and here's Elon giving him an oversized check.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And then, if you think about it, it's $1 million a day. There's like 20 days between now and the election, or when that started in the election. It's $20 million. You could have paid some marketing company $20 million to make some gay video. Instead, let's give $1 million to random people who sign up. That's going to draw a lot of people to sign up. In swing states, he has a lot to lose. Gives away $20 million. Everyone's happy.
And this is one of those things where, like, technically or theoretically, any individual could be against. Like, oh, I'm not for that. That's weird. You're kind of like parallel incentivizing people to vote and get political in Pennsylvania. Well, you guys, we could have all agreed on something 2 years ago. We could have all agreed on something 4 years ago. But you guys use the Mark Zuckerberg dark money, Zuck bucks. And it's like, I have no inclination to say, oh, that's not right, or take the high road. I don't care. This election means so much. And like, I'm not going to be the one to like be, whoa, maybe we should settle down,
Exactly. Every time it's their billionaires manipulating with money, and now our billionaires are playing the game a little bit.
And they're crying. They're sad.
Yeah, Shapiro is trying to say it's illegal, or he's looking into it. But there was a tweet that summed up the legality of it.
Yeah, Musk is taking advantage of the totally legal 501c3 racket they've exploited for ballot harvesting for decades, and they are big mad. And this
Good.
was quote tweeting George Takei, known leftist Muppet, always on Twitter. So
good. Love to see it. And then Kamala had a rally. Like we said, she's been doing a bunch of rounds, basically. She has a new line that she's really liking and repeating. Can you let it rip?
Should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States.
So she likes that line. And she thinks it's powerful. She did it a few times, and people were probably like, yeah, like, it was great to see your passion. And then she did it like 10 more times, as you can see here.
Never again stand behind the seal of the President.
Very cool. So she picks a winner, and she goes with it.
yeah, and like if you have a line, you have a line. That's cool. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal, but the right-wing podcast hosts are going to find it, make fun of you, say you're not authentic, you're not original.
Yeah, and I see this from both sides. When I was a little kid, we used to go on like a yearly vacation, and we went to this place, and they had like a nightclub, which was like a comedy room, or they had like a magician one night or whatever. And I used to go to bed at like 10 o'clock, and I was a little kid. But then one night, I went to the 8 o'clock comedy show, and I saw a comedian, and he did his show, and I thought it was so cool. And then the next night, I went again. Same comedian, same show, same bits.
Yeah, you fell for it.
I kind of saw behind the curtain of like, oh, he's not just up there riffing, like he's just saying his lines.
Yeah, they have one act. Yeah.
And then he said the same act again. So I kind of saw behind the curtain. So when I see that, I don't get too crazy about it. But she is just going with the line she thinks is a winner, and it's not that strong.
Yeah, and it's like a tested, we polled 30 people on this line, and we figured it out. It's market tested. The authenticity is still not there, right?
And also when like a woman gets like loud and like aggressive and like demonstrative, it's like you're never as strong as a man.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, and then I'm going to kick his ass. It's like, all right, like we don't really need you for like loud, dramatic things because like it won't ever escalate to anything you're capable of.
True.
But that's just me. All right. Obviously, rhetoric's at an all-time high. We're coming right into the election. There was an Atlantic article. Can you read the headline?
Trump is speaking like Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini.
Just all of them, right?
Yeah.
So if they can say stuff like that, then we can get yard signs that say, don't blame me. I voted for Adolf Hitler.
I don't even really get it.
Me neither.
Oh.
I just saw that and I thought it was funny. And it's like, if they call him Hitler, then it's like, fine, we voted for Hitler.
Sure.
Sure. But things are looking good for the election. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I don't want anyone to get complacent. Everyone needs to go vote early and in person. It's very important, so they can't do any day of election weird stuff.
Yeah, go and bring all the men in your family. Bring Uncle Joe, who's, I don't know, I don't want to vote.
I haven't voted since Reagan.
Yeah, bring the men.
Bring everybody. And here's my electoral map. Here's how I think it's going to go. I have a little picture here. 538 Trump, 0 Kamala.
Clean sweep. Delusional, but clean.
Clean sweep is right. So that's my electoral map. Yeah, so obviously there are going to be some sketchy things on the day of the election. There was already a guy on ABC7 who said he found ballots in a storm drain.
Jason Ace was doing some landscape work at his Sierra Madre home Saturday when he saw something strange in the storm drain next to his house. Nearly a dozen mail-in ballots. He says he got on his hands and knees and started scooping them out and noticed the addresses were from his Arcadian neighbors a block away.
And of course, we're trained here to keep stuff out of the storm drain. So I got down on my hands and knees and dug around a little bit and started pulling it out. And I pulled out a bunch of junk mail and Ralph's ads and Aldi, and these ballots were mixed in with the junk mail. And of course,
So he's trained to pull stuff out of the storm drain. That's a nice member of the community right there.
Yeah, good for him. He got down on his knees. He dug around. Sounds like Pete, Mayor Pete.
But all the ballots addressed to the same house, then dumped in the sewer. That's a little weird.
Classic.
It's very strange. So that's just a small example. Keep an eye out on election day. See something, say something. Make sure you guys are filming. But I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, the poll watchers. I mean, I've seen some recommendations. Like, if you're a poll watcher, you need to be like the last person out of the building. You need to like and if someone pushes you away or says like, "Oh, you have to leave," then you take out your camera and start filming it. Like, there's not an acceptable like, "Oh, just leave me alone with these ballots for a little bit."
Yeah.
And
we got the rest. We'll
ballot
handle
boxes, filming, do a stakeout with your boy.
Yeah.
Call each other old detective names and stake out the ballot box. Especially if you're in a swing city, Philly, those areas that are prone to some fraud, right?
Yes, exactly. All right, this takes us to our migrant section. We have a light migrant section this week. I know a lot of the attention is off of Springfield, Ohio, because it's been a few weeks.
Okay.
All the dogs are eaten. Everyone knows it.
Dogs are gone. They're all licked clean.
But this girl goes to high school in Springfield, and listen to what she says about the Haitians in class and the number and what they're up to.
The top floor, the classes would literally be filled with Haitians. Every single classroom. No white people, no nothing. It was just Haitians.
What percentage of students at your high school would you say are migrants that have recently came into the United States?
I would say about 50% of the schools, or maybe a little bit more, are Haitians. They're filling the classrooms up, and we don't have the translators to help the teachers, and they're just really disrespectful. I mean, the footage got taken down, but before Christmas break, there's two Haitians got caught in the stairway.
At school?
Yes, at school. There was video. Another thing,
and then she goes on to say that they also assaulted one of her friends and were groping people, and it's just absolutely horrible. And then there's no translator, so half the class is Haitian. Is anyone learning anything?
Yeah, it's just glorified babysitting, and then you're babysitting third worlders who are going to have sex in the high school hallway. Do you know how crazy you'd have to be to... Actually, I was going to say, there's some Americans who probably do that too, but they're sneakier and they don't get caught.
And that's an urban legend. We had sex in the stairwell in high school. It's but it's a little different when it's third worlders doing it and they don't know that it's, what the norms are.
Yeah. And it's interesting where the interviewer's asking how many are migrants. And she's like, no, not migrants, just Haitians. They're all Haitians.
Yeah.
So still bad. But that's why you need to vote, because if you vote in the right way, you tickle the right buttons, and they don't get enough fraud, then they all go back. That's a temporary visa status that's like an executive order away from be gone.
Go back to Haiti. Good luck. Take what you learned and improve your culture.
Yeah.
And obviously this is happening in Middle America, so if Kamala wins, that's going to be the norm for every high school in America, in my opinion.
Okay.
All right, which takes us to our final page of housekeeping, where I can talk about whatever I want. Make sure you guys use the opportunity to tickle the post, help us juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment again, start yapping. Old episodes need to be watched, notifications need to be on, P.O. Box needs to be full.
That was a clean one, brother. No critiques.
Thank you. All right, first part of my page of housekeeping. You know how some people believe that the vaccine was made as a depopulation tool?
Yeah.
And you know how when the migrants came, they weren't required to have it, but everyone in America was?
Yeah.
It's kind of, if you believe in the Great Replacement and then it's a depopulation tool, allegedly, it kind of would make more sense as to the plan. Everyone who got it dies or isn't able to reproduce. Everyone who comes in from a third world country is reproducing fast and gets all the money. and then you kind of go whoop with the population.
Yeah, but we aren't really seeing, I'll push back a little. We aren't really seeing that first part, are we?
Which part?
The people dying, people unable to procreate. I don't know if we've really seen that in two mass numbers, so.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. It's still
It's
developing.
on a 5-year clock.
It's on a 5-year clock. It's still developing. And then like whatever the that chart for like random death, we'll keep an eye on that graph.
All-cause mortality.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep an eye on that. Something I thought of, though, where it's like, that's weird. They didn't make them get it, but everyone else had to, and they want to get rid of us, and they want to replace us with them. It's a good parlay if you're very much in the deep state and powerful enough to do it.
Okay.
Next, we have some North Carolina schizo stuff. This first one's not very schizo. It's Cernovich's tweet about his firsthand experience talking to people who were dealing with North Carolina in general.
The stories I heard out of North Carolina were unbelievable. From credible sources, though. Illegal immigrant gangs showed up and began looting and raping. They didn't know how many vet bros were in that area. A lot of bad people went missing in those new swamps.
Crazy.
So some body stacking, some criminal body stacking?
Seems like it, and it seems like things got sketchy and lawless, but luckily there were some vets and some patriots.
Some
veterans who handled it.
Yeah.
And this next clip, remember how there's that theory that there were really a ton of rare metals?
There's a giant lithium mine over where it hit in North Carolina.
In North Carolina, and there's rare metals, and companies are trying to get that land, and they couldn't before. Here's a guy talking about the plan for people who want to maybe return to their washed away land.
It's the governor of North Carolina.
Yeah.
We work with them. We have plans for local governments. You know, in some areas, you just shouldn't build back. And we've been able to convince certain communities and people that buyouts are better, and you create.
That's interesting.
Buyouts are better. Don't return to your land, brother.
Can't build back, don't return. Buyouts are better. Oh, and that lithium? I guess those guys who bought you out, they'll just have it.
I guess Megacorp will take it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very strange. All right, next. Homeland Security Critical Infrastructure Conference is happening the day after the election with a large-scale cybersecurity exercise on November 5th, Election Day, in Atlanta.
Atlanta, that big city in that swing state that's crucially important. Wow.
Yeah, you're having a cybersecurity exercise on Election Day in Atlanta.
All the top cyber experts are going to be in Atlanta, huh?
It's kind of like 9/11 vibes.
Yeah.
Remember when they had like the hijacked airline war game or whatever?
Yeah.
And then they were like, is this real or not? I can't even tell. And then they actually did the terrorist attack.
Bad.
So bad 9/11 vibes there.
Eyes on Atlanta.
Yeah, eyes on Atlanta big time. Okay. This, I told you guys earlier, I'm confident about the election. I'm feeling good as long as everyone goes and votes. Make sure you go vote. There is a worst case scenario, like a QAnon type of thing.
Your section of housekeeping is going to get us fucking banned.
No, I don't. I'm not reading anything.
Okay,
You're reading it.
Depopulation thing. Here's QAnon. Here's the cybersecurity.
Well, the
thing.
point is,
no, I mean, I don't care.
I'm feeling confident about the election, but we know how powerful the deep state is. We know how they don't want Trump in office. They've obviously tried to kill him already. They're going to do anything they can to win the election. And then someone put this out on Twitter, and I read it. And I don't want to say it rang true, but it kind of tickled me a little bit. Can you read the tweet?
Yeah. And I haven't even fully read this yet, so I'll let you guys know I am just reading. I'm not even exactly sure how to put this into words, but the vast majority of people reading this, possibly you, have literally no idea what's about to happen to America. Unless there is a miraculous intervention by angels or white hats, your country will not be recognizable by the end of January. Quite a few of you reading this right now will already be dead by then. And a much larger number of you will see a significant portion of your dollar assets evaporate into nearly nothing. The rule of law will have collapsed, and there is a significant chance that tens of millions of Americans will have no infrastructure functioning at all, either due to an EMP detonation, a cyber attack on the power grid, or the outbreak of nuclear war. Simultaneously, many millions of foreign occupiers are already in the country with weapons and instructions, and they will soon be activated to carry out mass sabotage and extermination operations, aided by the U.S. military, which has just been given new lawful authority to assassinate American citizens on U.S. soil. I don't know if that's true. If Trump wins, the deep state will activate everything they have, every weapon and every Samson option, including nuking ourselves and deliberately collapsing the entire Western banking system in a great taking financial reset. Deagle's predict. Yeah, you get it.
We get it.
It's black. It's the most black-pilling, deep state, schizo shit you've ever heard.
It's dark. It's dark, but it's not a 0% chance. So with all the uplifting things I'm saying of we're going to be fine, we're going to win, make sure you go vote, there also is the other side where if Trump wins, they're going to nuke us between November and January.
So what's your point? What's your broader advice or point, or what do you think? You just like to play? You like to pretend a little?
Well, I like to just show the full spectrum of possibilities so everyone can be prepared. And also, if something were to happen, you heard it here first.
Okay, so you want the prediction points and then for everyone
I
to
don't want
prep a little bit.
I don't want the prediction points for that one, but I want to just get it on the record that there is a spectrum. Everyone's voting and we win, and Trump's in, everything's great, everyone's getting deported. Mm-hmm. Or Trump wins and then they start to do their, Black Swan events, horrible things.
Okay, he got it on the record.
But don't worry, as many of us know and that guy knows, that Trump is being protected by the good aliens.
Oh.
Can you read the good alien protection post?
Since July 21st, the light forces have started operations to remove this network, and it will be gone soon. Geopolitically, during the July 11th to 22nd period, some significant things have happened. First, Pleiadians used ATVOR technology to move the head of Donald Trump just 0.3 seconds before he was hit by a bullet, effectively saving his life.
And then someone tweeted that post and said, it costs you nothing to believe an intergalactic race of Pleiadians are protecting Trump with a pillar of white light, and a mere mention of this will drive every liberal you know insane with rage. So I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because those aliens are angels.
All right.
So that's
man.
good.
Okay.
But obviously with good aliens, there's also bad aliens. This is an example of a bad alien. This is how they hide. This is a guy caught on camera. He pulls off the mask. Look at his hands. Those aren't human.
No, that's really him?
That's how they
on
do
camera.
it. That's what Kamala Harris is.
Holy
That's
shit.
what Pete Buttigieg might be.
Yeah.
Oprah.
Okay.
LeBron.
All right.
All right, last piece of our housekeeping where I can say whatever I want.
Clearly. You're absolutely fucking firing from the hip on this one.
Stevie Wonder has doubled down, and to prove he's really blind, he's kissing people on the lips, guys on the lips. So, okay. All right, Stevie.
Is that even Stevie?
You're blind. But he's doubling down and kissing dudes on the lips.
All right.
Just to make sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, that is the end of housekeeping. We're moving on to Cringe of the Week.
All right. Thank you.
We're moving on to Cringe of the Week. Before we get there, guys, this week's Cringe of the Week is brought to you by Bonus Land. We didn't do a Bonus Land on Friday, so we're going to have extra Bonus Land today and Friday. Make sure you guys join. It'll be an extra 45 minutes of the show right after this one, times 2.
Yep.
Today and Friday. So now's a good time to join. We're going to be talking about all kinds of cool stuff.
Okay.
All right, our first clip of Cringe of the Week. FEMA posted a video of them clearing wood from a hurricane disaster site.
CBP?
Is that Border Patrol?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is law enforcement obviously working on a thing, passing a stick. Passing one log down a line of 20 people. What, for social media?
Yeah, and they posted it for social media. And in my opinion, this is what women or homosexual men leadership looks like. Like, oh, everyone just line up and then just pass it to the next guy and just keep passing it down. And it takes 20 people 20 minutes to clear one tree when everyone could have just grabbed one log that size in 20 seconds and dumped it on the pile and been done with it.
Yeah.
So I just don't fully understand how that was the best idea. And I sent it to
It's like 10 federal employees. Everybody gets like a salary and a pension and a whatever. It's like, guys, can we grind? Can we grind a little bit?
Like $300 an hour or something for all those guys.
And you lose a second every time someone is readjusting their grip. And then you're also counting on the weakest link in that chain, the slowest person who does it, like the woman at the end who goes like this. I don't know, man.
Makes no sense to me. And
it's
they
a good
posted
representation of the federal
Exactly.
government.
That's what's going on when our government does something. Like, that's their efficiency in action, and they posted it. And I sent that to Memetic Sisyphus, and he said they should hire somebody who's only job is to critique whatever they're about to post on social media, then if they make a good point, you don't post it.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, guys, this doesn't look very efficient. Kind of a waste of manpower or people power.
I have a feeling they wouldn't post in months. Yeah. That's kind of the issue with that one.
They would not have anything to post. All right, our next clip is Kamala supporters who went to Joy Camp. Just do fentanyl.
They're all giggling, they're all laughing, and they're doing like a little tag game out in the woods.
Where you get touched and then you get zapped and then you laugh. Just do fentanyl. Just do fentanyl and doze off.
Just do poppers. Just get into the nice warm embrace of fentanyl.
And they say J.D. Vance is weird, and that's what they're up to. And I think if a doctor saw these people, he would 1099 everybody.
Close, but not correct. You want to try again?
1031?
No.
1492?
No, that's when
What's
Columbus...
What's the one where everyone is forced into a mental institution?
5150.
Okay, 5150. What did I say? 1099?
Yeah, they are independent contractors. They're not a real estate tax avoidance tool.
Okay. 1492 is Columbus.
That was when Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Okay, okay.
You're close. You had a lot of numbers ready, which is good.
Number. I had that. 5150.
Part of me thinks maybe they're tricking themselves, though. Maybe these joyful people, maybe it does do something.
Subconsciously to your body,
Yeah.
your body thinks you're laughing, and if you're laughing, times are good, so now your nervous system can be relaxed.
Exactly. There's some sort of thing. Maybe they're onto something. I mean, they look gay and they look stupid, but what if it is working? What if they did trick themselves into having joy in the woods that day with a bunch of white dudes for Harris?
And then here we are making fun of them.
But we get joy out of that, too.
I got a lot of joy out of that.
We're joyful, but the subject matter is just a little darker.
We're joyful ass.
You know what?
You know what?
All right.
All right, let's get to our next clip. This guy is doing a bit where he's picking up a girl, and look what happens.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Sorry, I got nervous. I forgot what I was supposed to say. What's your name?
Alexa.
I'm Gideon.
So nice to meet you. I like your suit.
Thank you. I like your outfit.
Thank you. Just going for a walk.
You don't have work today?
I'm actually taking off today.
Oh, yeah?
Just a
Mental
day.
health day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need those.
Sometimes you just need a Wednesday off.
Maybe we could grab a slice of pizza or something.
That would be great.
Yeah, here, let me actually get your details. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, why do you have so many hot dogs?
Sorry, that's so embarrassing.
I'll help you.
And then she helps him clean it up.
Yeah.
See how receptive she was to being approached? That makes me think that in these Democrat cities, normal girls are approached so rarely by straight normal men that it's like...
I'll give the guy with the hot dogs briefcase and red suit a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're seeing that, the only guy approaching women naturally and on purpose is doing a TikTok bit.
He's filming you for social media.
But dropping a whole suitcase full of hot dogs wasn't disqualifying. It wasn't a deal breaker for her.
Well, it was a beige flag. It was slight or pink flag. Well, she wasn't ready to dump it all yet.
And then he can't even talk in the beginning. He's like, "Oh, I'm really nervous. Sorry. What's your name?" And she's like, "Oh, this is better than every other 0 time I've been approached."
Yeah.
Because everyone is a homosexual in these Democrat cities or a weak man. So the guy with the hot dog briefcase,
he's actually the top prospect.
So that's the first time I've been approached all month. So that's interesting. There's something to be said about that.
Okay. I don't think that's necessarily that cringe, but I agree with the points that you're making. There's something there.
Well, it's cringe that the cities are so not able to facilitate natural interactions between men and women that getting approached by the hot dog guy is I'm down.
Okay.
Better than 0.
Yeah.
All right, next. This next one's
better than meeting a guy at a bar, or something like that.
So this next clip, this is going to be a fast one. I just want to show you guys. This is stupid art. This person says they're an artist. They dab paint on the thing, and here's the process. So they put the paint. They get to a mental place where they. All right, so how much? $11,000? How much do I owe you for that?
Yeah.
I just thought it was stupid.
Yeah, it is. And I think when someone makes an offer on this, they're like, well, the canvas, it's a nice canvas. It's probably $85, you know? You got the nice wood, high end. You probably used about, what, $12 of paint?
Yeah.
I'll give you 85 for it because you kind of fucked it up.
And then I think what these types of art situations it's just like a non-binary or a lesbian. So it's like, are you going to support this lesbian art? And then that's why you're buying it. You're buying art from a non-binary person. You're supporting a non-binary person's art. That's more important than the art itself. So that's what like art is becoming. And then the swipes, stupid. And then the one at the end that just chops into it. That's not real anything.
Yeah, and I mean, the arts in general, a lot of what you said is very true. Like they're just supporting a lesbian or they're supporting a woman or they're supporting XYZ. I just read a story, and I don't have the details in front of me because I didn't know we were going to talk about it like this, but it was basically like a poet, a guy who submitted his poems, and he submitted like 2 poems to like a magazine for publishing, and then they denied him like twice, and then he just said, oh, I'm Li Hu Chao. And it was like an Asian woman name. And they were like, yeah, we'll publish it. Same exact poem. So that type of shit does happen on an institutional level as well, you know?
Big time.
So, all right.
All right, let's get into our headline story for Cringe of the Week. Exclusive, women sues Museum of Ice Cream over severe injuries from viral sprinkle pool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know this, there's like a Museum of Ice Cream in a bunch of cities across America, and they have a huge sprinkle pool, and then people see it. There's also a diving board, and then people see it and think, oh, I'm going to like Scrooge McDuck this thing, and they jump into the pool, and then here's what happens when they jump in. It's kind of similar to sand.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, sand, it's like water. It's like you can go right through it, and then you kind of jump on it, and it's like closer to concrete than it is water.
And this girl who cannonballed in actually got very lucky because she landed on her knees. Like there was no like tib-fib, hyperextended knee snap situation.
This next guy wasn't so lucky. Yeah, let it rip.
PSA, the pool of sprinkles is not cannonball proof.
So he blew out his leg.
He's hurt, he's a heavy guy. That takes a long time to recover. Months of physical therapy, doctor bills, all that.
But yeah, so then you land like on your tailbone, you get the wind knocked out of you. People think it's like you dive in and swim around thing. Not the case. Then can you read some of the context?
Yeah, well, we're going back and forth on this because everybody who jumps in is obviously retarded. You don't just see something and go, I'll jump in. It's, you've basically never jumped in anything in your entire life. The only things you jump in are like a pool, which you know about. Everybody knows about that. And you still have to check the depth on that. And people still get paralyzed diving or doing something when it's too shallow. And then like a foam pit at a gymnastics place.
But if you're a person of size, you're going to need help getting out.
Yeah.
We've seen that.
All right, so her visit turned into a house of horrors for Robinson, who suffered severe and permanent injuries when she jumped and landed in the sprinkle pool, the suit says. The Museum of Ice Cream trumpets its facility as a safe space on its website and advises visitors to dive into fun with our iconic sprinkle pool.
Dive into fun. You have a diving board. People dive in and got injured. It seems like you're going to lose the lawsuit.
Yeah, the diving board is the thing that confuses me the most because people get on it. This is like a thing that's meant to be for Instagram. It's like you're meant to get in the pool and like take a selfie and be like, I'm at the museum. And
you eat the sprinkles and whatever.
Yeah, you take a bite. But people are diving in, getting seriously injured, multiple people. Neither of those videos we showed you were the woman in the lawsuit who shattered her ankle and then needed surgery and needed screws in her ankles. So there's an insanely high amount of people who will jump into something that they've never touched before and they don't know the consistency of because they went to a ball pit at McDonald's when they were a kid and they thought they could do something there.
Shut it down.
I don't know what's happening, but hey, if you're the Museum of Ice Cream, get rid of the diving board, retards. Obviously, people are getting fucked up at your place. And then as a business itself, it's like, what is it, some 16-year-old who like mans the line at the sprinkle pool. And then they're like, yeah, like they don't even report to their higher ups. Like, yeah, people seem to be hobbling off from the sprinkle pool every day.
They're on their phone vaping.
So I don't know. I don't know whose side I'm on. Obviously, you're not jumping in, but the diving board and dive into the fun at the sprinkle pool, you're probably going to have to settle.
Yeah.
You're probably writing a $500K check.
I'm on the side of the people who were injured. I think you should shut down the Museum of Ice Cream because you can't have a Museum of Ice Cream and 50 million illegals here at the same time.
That's true.
We're not in a good enough spot that it's like, oh, we have a Museum of Ice Cream and then all the Haitians are ruining public schools. Well, we can save the Museum for Ice Cream 10 years from now after Renaissance is ushered in.
I didn't know you'd take that angle, but I surprisingly agree with you.
Times aren't good enough for a Museum of Ice Cream.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the end of our Cringe of the Week. We're moving on to Urban Decay. Our first clip of Urban Decay is a Democrat door knocker campaigning for Kamala Harris, and look how it goes. So he put the flyer on the door. He left the door open. And then yoink. And he's off with your scooter. And he looked right at the camera before that, too. And he just couldn't resist. And I think it's because he knows that Kamala's policies are not going to get him into trouble. He'll just get caught and then released or not even brought to jail.
Yeah, so, he knows what he's up to. He's supporting that candidate for a reason. And this is, the funniest part, too, is like, whether he believes in Kamala or whether he was paid to do it, it's like you either believe in Kamala and then you're doing the worst thing possible while looking into the camera for her brand, or you're getting paid and then you're just stealing at work at the first opportunity you could. So crazy. And, Ring cameras really are... I remember we covered it in our podcast a long time ago, how Ring cameras, some woke liberal, like Atlantic type magazine was making the case that Ring cameras are racist because they capture so much black crime. And it's like Ring cameras are one of the best reality, base points I've seen in a long time.
Similar to police body cams.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you put it up and what you're observing is reality recorded. So
unfiltered, it's not in an editorial of the New York Times. It's just pure Ring camera. Kamala Harris ballot supporter guy steals scooter from front yard.
Criminals for Kamala.
Yeah.
And I can throw this out there. This would never happen for a Trump door knocker.
You think so?
I know so.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't. It's already an unpopular opinion or a social taboo as it is. And it's like you're not going to have people who are proactively trying to get Donald Trump elected rightfully. You're not going to have them steal someone's stuff because that is like a fundamental disagreement with the foundation of what MAGA is.
Of Republican, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, our next clip is the fat black lady fight.
Oh, it's on.
It's on. Oh, nice. Side boob. Nice.
Car suspension. Ooh.
Do something. Let my hair go. Y'all let my hair go. 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 I can hit that bitch.
We get it.
The problem is when you're two wildebeest, you're two super heavy fat people, combined weight of probably 700 between these, the fight's not going to last. They don't have the stamina or the staying power to actually deliver a knockout punch. It's just kind of fun for the first 15 seconds.
It all goes down in the first third of the first round.
Exactly.
And I was going to make a joke that The Simpsons predicted this, but I decided not to because it could come across as racist, and this is a classy show.
Okay.
So I'm not going to do that. But they did, I was thinking about this. If you look at that fight and the two people involved, you're looking at like $100,000 of EBT calories.
Yeah.
That went into each of these individuals that were paid for by us.
Absolutely.
So we almost have a right to enjoy the show when something like this happens because we're the ones who facilitated the existence of the person in the first place.
That's very true. It's like a new era, Gladiator.
Yeah.
The Coliseum is the iPhone this year, though, and we subsidize these people, so at the very least they can entertain us.
Yeah, we subsidize people, we feed them, they drink all the soda and whatever, and they got gigantic, and then they fight every now and then. Like, that's like a reaping a reward.
Yeah.
That's a fruit of our labor.
We might as well enjoy it. You can be disgusted or you can enjoy it because you're going to pay for it either way.
Yeah, so you might as well enjoy. Next is this woman who's very confused as to why the Dollar General food is all locked up.
Why in our own neighborhood are all the freezers locked on in Dollar General? There are locks on these freezers. We have to ask the staff to bring us the key to allow us to get grocery out of the freezer. This doesn't make any sense to be in our neighborhood and can't access food on your own without.
White folks trying to starve us and shit.
Yeah, we're actually doing a new thing where it's a food desert, but it's like we want to show it to you so it's right in your grasp and then you can't get it.
Yeah.
It's like a torment.
And those locks were a bunch of like different mix-match locks, like from a store. Like
bike lock.
It wasn't
a combo. Yeah, one's a key.
It wasn't a corporate job. It wasn't the Dollar General locks. It was just like a bunch of different locks because those people in that specific store needed to lock everything up.
Yeah.
And they just got 20 different locks and locked them all up.
It's crazy that she's filming this and it's like, you haven't seen this yet? You haven't seen anything online about how shoplifting's through the roof and everybody's like getting locked down and you need to ask an employee to get deodorant now? Like, you're surprised? Your Dollar General just recently hit the threshold of too much shit getting stolen. Mm-hmm. Dollar General doesn't have like, I actually bet they do, but like inventory tracking and stuff, but obviously, based on these locks, someone was just like, that's too much getting stolen. Yeah. So, I mean, look towards your fellow man. Don't look toward Dollar General, right?
And then there was an article that was very much in line with this as well. It says, the shoplifting surge is real. People think it's okay to steal, and no one knows how to stop them.
Nobody.
No one has a clue how to stop them. And I think because no one stops them and the rules and the police and the laws are all in place to not stop them, I think you kind of create a power vacuum. You know, back in the day, the mafia would come and say, like, oh, for protection, give us this much money a month for protection. Yeah. And the people would go, I don't need any protection. And then that night, the mafia would go break all their windows and go, oh, your windows got broken. You don't need protection? Now we actually do need that mafia-style protection. And imagine if there was people paying for protection for certain stores, and then if someone robs from that store and then the mafia stomps them out.
There was some extrajudicial justice that got dispensed, right?
And then everyone who robs goes, oh, don't rob from Kathy's grocery store.
They'll stomp you out in the back alley.
Yeah, so-and-so did, and he got dumped in the river.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're going to lead to like mob-style justice like that where people are going to need protection, and if they're not getting it from law enforcement and policymakers, they're going to get it from cartel-style mob justice.
Yeah. And you know how you always say like they're setting you up for something. They're setting you up to believe that like, oh, Bill Clinton went to Arkansas. Kamala got 80 million votes. This is the same thing. The Atlantic here, shoplifting, and no one knows how to stop them. That's just like, get used to it. There's no way to stop shoplifting. It's over. We're past that point.
Nothing we can do.
And it's like, no, you can I've always said this, it's whack-a-mole governing, which is if there's a problem, if all of a sudden people start stealing from trains, then you kind of get with your state legislator and you say, hey, train punishment, stealing from trains is much higher now. And shoplifting for a brief period of time, everybody, the leftist places like California, they made the punishments lesser and it increased. All you have to do is make the punishments more. And then the people will either stop shoplifting or they'll be in jail and then they can stop shoplifting.
Yeah.
There's a very easy way to solve this, but the leftist type, they have no interest in actually solving it, right?
Exactly. And it's going to lead, like we said, to mob justice, but that's kind of exciting if you live in the city because now you're like on an episode of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Who's Carmela? You know?
And people are going to need protection, and if they don't get it from the police, that's how Batman started.
That's how the Penguin. We're watching the Penguin.
We're watching the Penguin right now, and the whole premise of the Penguin is he's like a henchman who is getting promoted to boss.
He wants to become the boss, but he's a henchman now.
And that was also the entire storyline of Henchman Maxing, the Bonus Land special we did a few months ago.
Yeah.
It was the whole premise of that. The show came out a few weeks ago. It's like I think they watched Henchman Maxing and got the idea.
Yeah, they're Bonus Landers.
They wanted to go from henchman to boss. That's exactly the show Penguin.
Yep.
Which we recommend. It's on HBO.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. All right, and then you had some supporting context here with recidivism?
Not really recidivism, but the genetic piece of criminality, I guess. So shoplifting obviously goes into this. Most crimes are committed by a tiny proportion of the population, and criminality is heritable. If we simply imprison criminals, it will both sharply decrease crime immediately and reduce criminality in subsequent generations. So it was just kind of a light bulb moment that went off in my head during all this social justice stuff that we're doing, where we're letting people out early or not charging them for XYZ. And then those people are out there and they're a brutal, should be a in-prison felon, but then they're not in jail. And then they have 2 kids. And then that criminality, which is heritable, gets passed on to them. Then it's like, what are we doing? We let the one criminal out who may still commit crimes. And then he just had 2 more criminals.
And then
potentially, right?
And then society is so full of crime that nice, normal people go, oh, it's so dangerous. Oh, inflation's so bad. All these illegals here.
I'm not sure if I'm ready.
I'm going to wait to have kids. And then now you have all the bad people outnumbering in all different aspects.
Yeah. And so this was a guy who was commenting it on Twitter from a study, and it says, of those adoptees whose biological parents have 3 or more convictions, 75% never received a court conviction. Another way of expressing this concentration of crime is that the chronic male adoptee offenders with biological parents having 3 or more offenses number only 37. They make up 1% of the 3,700 male adoptees in Table 2, but are responsible for 30% of the male adoptee convictions. Wow. So that's convicted convicts' kids who are been adopted, and then they're still doing crime, which is making the case for why crime is heritable. Which it seems compelling to me, and it's kind of such a shame. So when we kind of point out Nayib Bukele in El Salvador and stuff and how he locked away all those criminals, they're going to have a golden era when all those kids are non-existing. The criminal kids who they couldn't procreate.
The future's looking bright.
The future, like there's going to be a 25-year thing where it's a delay, and it's like going to be even safer then. So
wow.
Crazy, right?
All right, let's get to our next part of Urban, the chicken bone debate.
Yeah.
We have a guy, I think it was Tyrese.
It was Tyrese. This all sparked a discourse on Twitter.
Yep, so here he is in the window talking to people, eating chicken wings.
Oh, cool. Everything all right?
What you eating though, dog?
That's that motherfucker Popeye right there, boy.
Mm-hmm. You gonna eat that whole 10-piece too, ain't you?
No. We got a show tomorrow.
He dumps the chicken wing on the ground.
On the street. He's in a car, and My Mixtapes, the famous Twitter account, said Tyrese Gibson is facing backlash after being caught by fans eating chicken in traffic and littering from his window.
Which is interesting, because I don't know. I always thought chicken wings were something you eat at home.
For the most part.
Not really an on-the-run meal. It makes you very messy. You need a lot of napkins. Mm-hmm. Not something I eat on the run.
Licking your fingers and shit in the car. But so what we wanted to talk about, which was weird from this, is the number of people, some people are like, yeah, it's rude. I wouldn't make it my whole life's mission to make sure nobody littered chicken bones anymore. But you go to some certain type of area and there's chicken. You see chicken wings on the ground. I've seen it. I saw it at Wawa the other day. I pull out of my car and there's a chicken wing right there.
You know who does it.
You know who does it, right? We all do. And you just saw who did it, Tyrese, right there. And I took this screenshot here of a lot of replies who were defending that it wasn't controversial to do this. And here's some of them. Black guy number 1. It's biodegradable, so no big deal. It's a fucking bone that will naturally decompose. It's a legit bone. An animal will get to it. And then this guy goes, I always throw chicken bones out the window.
And then the guy who said that is this person.
There he is. He's beyond parody. And so, I wanting to get involved in the discourse because, biodegradable, right? Yeah, like in a compost pile that's like kind of a living organism of decomposition, it still takes chicken bones from 5 to 10 years to fully decompose.
So you throw it on a city street. Is it going to decompose, or is it going to be food for a rat, or is it going to choke a dog?
Yeah, is someone's dog who's going to come up walking behind it going to go right to the chicken bone, and then the owner's in a fight. And what's going to happen? Some janitor type guy is going to sweep it up, who cares for the building, or it's going to return to nature. What do you think is going to happen first, right?
It's biodegradable.
So instead of, and that's part of the thing too, is they see this and like technically, yeah, like throwing a banana peel in the woods, right? That probably decomposes in a week and then that kind of returns to nature and there's bugs there. But a chicken wing, hard chicken wing on a sidewalk is a little different. But I was fascinated by how many people were like arguing for that fact, right? And then I found this Reddit post from the subreddit Chicago, and I'll read it to you. It says, "Who is the person leaving chicken bones across the city? I have lived across the city, and no matter where I go, there is an abundance of chicken wings on the sidewalk, right where I walk my dog, and he can find them. After having pulled out a dozen from his mouth, I was thinking we all find this wing eater who is too stupid to understand what a trash can is and throw him into the lake. Thank you for your time."
One guy.
So the guy made a joke. He's making a joke that it's one guy, but it's just clearly based on these Twitter replies, it's a cultural thing in the black community that they just think it's biodegradable.
A bird will eat it.
They heard that. And then the Reddit replies, a lot of the people were blaming like squirrels or raccoons or whatever. And it's like, yeah, they maybe do a couple. They drag a couple from the trash cans on the sidewalk. But I've seen people go like this and throw it out.
Me too.
So it's fascinating behavior to defend, and you wonder why third world slums are like filled with plastic, or the rivers have plastic or styrofoam, and it's like, yeah, technically that's biodegradable in about 1,500 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like a not caring about your environment thing, and it's very weird. But they think because technically it's biodegradable that it's okay to throw like, and you get wings, right? You get a 10-piece. So you're throwing 10? Oh, a raccoon will get it. And then another raccoon. And then 2 squirrels. And then they're eating habanero mango bone.
I'm supporting a rat population.
Yeah, I'm building a pest community. So it was very funny, but it's kind of sad. That's who dumps chicken bones all around.
And that's why it's in Urban Decay.
Yeah.
All right, our last piece of Urban Decay. It's going to be quick. It's a story, but we're going to start with the tweet. There was a girl who is very upset that men weren't defending women on the subway. Can you kind of go through it?
Yeah, she said this man on the subway was repeatedly harassing a woman, being disgusting, invading her space, etc. Tell me fucking why me and the other women around tried to intervene and tell him off, but all the young, fit guys around just stood silent and looked at the ground. This guy was a big dude, and yet we were moving around to try and create a physical barrier between him and her. And there were so many guys who were definitely stronger than any of us, just fucking twiddling their thumbs and acting like nothing was wrong. Shit like this is why I have zero respect for men. Absolute cowards with no backbones or sense of justice, who can see an objectively bad situation and can't do the bare minimum of at least telling someone to knock it off.
Yep. And then in other news, the Daniel Penny trial is starting this week. And Daniel Penny's lawyers will be trying to put jurors in the train car and ask, what would you do as the trial begins?
Yep. So big trial for the guy who accidentally murdered someone because he had him in a headlock.
And he defended people who were being harassed by a crazy person on the subway. And then that same girl who had a problem actually tweeted about Daniel Penny. And this is what she said.
She said, I would also like to add that it feels hollow and selfish at best and nefarious and exploitative at worst to only be bringing up violence against women at the expense of another marginalized group, especially following the murder of Jordan Neely. It's propagandistic.
Yeah.
So the same girl.
There you go, stupid.
There you go, Stu. Hey, anybody home, Stu?
That was no one helping me. Hey, that guy who helped, he needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's like, do you think Daniel Penny was trying to kill the guy with a headlock when he was trying to keep the peace on the subway? Obviously not. And so why would any man risk it for a girl? And then here's the thing too. Why would any man risk it for a girl? I'm sure one of those guys would have jumped in if the guy swung or something. But there's like a new bar where if you're just getting harassment, sorry, you just got to eat it. I'm not jumping in now.
You have to vote for abortion. So
yeah,
you have to vote Democrat. And this is going to keep happening because you need to be able to kill babies.
Yep, that's pretty much it. But this girl has this woke tweet about marginalized at the expense of another marginalized group. And then you're wondering why no one should stand up for you. Honestly,
you shouldn't even leave the house.
Yeah, you're like an ideal. You're the antithesis ideologically to a lot of those young men,
and
who Kamala None of those were white dudes for Harris. They would have said, hey, stop it.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone. And then they eat a punch. But, that's just the world you created. So,
and they look at everything, like that girl looks at everything like this, where it's like, oh, this white guy killed a black guy. That's bad. This girl's getting harassed and no one's defending her. And it's like,
they're not connected at all.
You can't zoom out and think about, like, why are all these criminals out in the streets? Why are all these third worlders here harassing people? Why are we getting the guy in trouble who defended the innocent?
Yeah. Everything should be exactly how I think it should be.
Right now in this one.
And then nothing's interconnected.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. All right. Well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're moving on to uplifting gold, and we have great uplifting stuff.
All right.
This kid who did the joke about how to watch more reels efficiently, he has a new one.
All right, so here's how to leave your room while you're watching reels. So as you can see here, I've got my my right hand out as like a guide hand. I'm trying to find the door, but then right there I watch a reel that's really funny, and it kind of throws me off a little bit. So this time I actually didn't get out of my room. I went back to my bed, but in the future...
I like that guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Does it have the tag at the end? It's something Westbury, I believe, at the very end.
Back to my bed, but in the future...
Yeah, Aaron Westbury.
Aaron Westbury. He's good. Make sure you guys follow him. He's funny.
All right.
All right, next. We talked about animals in the last few weeks, donkeys specifically. Look at how these donkeys go up this stairs. They go in an angle. It makes it easier.
They understand physics, the physics of being a pack mule and going up the stairs.
Did you know donkeys knew that?
I had no idea.
Neither did I.
I don't have much donkey experience.
I was told donkeys were stupid.
I thought donkeys were smart. I thought all...
Jackass?
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, it means something to humans, and then what are they being compared to? Oh, that stupid little mini horse. Kind of not fair.
All right, whatever.
All right, next, this whale does a trick where he poops and then splashes it. So here he comes. He blows it out. Disgusting. It's in the water. No big deal, I guess. It's kind of gross. Uh-oh.
That won't come towards us or anything.
Yeah,
That
it's
won't
just
come
in
back.
the water. It'll dissolve. Uh-oh.
Splash the poop water.
Now it's on you. So that's a little revenge from the whale.
Yeah, that's what you get for going and watching that whale perform tricks in captivity, I guess.
Yep, he gets his. Next is the father-son banjo combo.
Here's one of the state songs of Tennessee. Good old Rocky Top. 1, 2, 3.
Very nice.
Yeah, it makes me want to get 2 spoons and start slapping them on my leg. Join up with those boys.
That's your ride.
Yeah, that's my ride as an American.
Hoods.creek.music.
All right, there you go.
Good for those guys. Next is Antonio Brown met Trump, and he gave him a weird hug, which is rare to see because Secret Service usually will shoot you for this, but AB's allowed.
Puts him in a weird half-hug position.
Very cool.
AB and Le'Veon Bell both spoke at the Trump rally, so good for those guys.
Yep. Very cool.
You know Le'Veon Bell? Okay, that's fine.
I know Le'Veon Ball.
That's nobody.
Basketball player.
No, that's LaMelo Ball or LiAngelo Ball.
Yeah.
Or LeVar Ball. Yeah, something like that.
Too
Whatever.
many.
Too many.
All right, next. This was sent in by Shelby, who is a major show watcher and Bonus Lander, top show watcher. But she went to a Chinese restaurant, and there's typos on the menu on the cover.
Yeah.
Friday to Saturday, FIR to Saturday.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Chose on Tuesday.
Chose on Tuesday. They got restaurant right. Yeah. Chinese is correct. The Lotus Garden cuisine is all correct, but a lot of typos.
Yeah.
And even the location had a typo too.
Belterre.
Yeah, it's like Bel Air, I believe, and it's Belterre. But that's how you know it's good. They don't even have a person who can proofread it.
Exactly.
In the close circle. There's not even one guy who knows English enough to proofread it. It's all mainlanders. It's going to taste good.
Yeah, but there might be some bad oils in there, and there might be some...
sketchy meat.
Sketchy meat.
Bad oils, and then cleanliness. When I was a little kid, I used to go to this Chinese restaurant, And then one day we got there, I think it opened at 11, and we got there at like 10:55.
Mm-hmm.
So we were seated like before the restaurant even opened. And then I saw them bring out like the noodle chips, and they brought it out, and they had it in an upside down trash can lid. And they had a million little bowls of the Chinese chips, and they were just putting them on each table. And I was kind of like, you're using the trash can for this?
Uh-oh.
So, Uncle dies.
Yep.
But it was still good. Our last thing of the whole show.
Why even do it?
Someone made Fleckus Talks, the podcast intro opera song that was like similar to Joker.
Okay.
Joker 2 is obviously so bad. No one saw it. Don't go see it. They ruined it. But they made like an opera song for us.
And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time words speak louder than actions, because sometimes it's the right thing to do.
That was cool. Very cool.
All right, nice.
Wasn't that cool?
I don't really fuck with opera like that.
But it's AI opera for our show.
Yeah.
It's not opera. It's John from the Overpass opera.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to change my stance. I don't really fuck with opera at all. So.
I like opera.
I know you do. So it works for you. That's good.
And then John from the Overpass. I wonder if he knows how
he's
deep,
at?
how deep the lore goes. And
It's lucky he wore a mask.
It's a miracle he wore a mask, because if he didn't, and then we were using his likeness the way we are, even though it was out in public and he consented to an interview, there's something where it's like, you can't make a whole show about me.
You might have a problem.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. The show's over. Please join Bonus Land. It's very important. We have a great Bonus Land. FleckisTalks.com is the website. Extra long Bonus Land dropping right now. We'll see you guys there. And if we don't see you there, we'll see you on Friday.
So I want to thank you all for coming out. And we're going to see you soon. We'll see you at the next stop.